Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Monroe, Washington.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at wheeltalkpodcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks.
We're already recording.
So we're already live, but how do you want to go into it here?
Hi.
Hi, Becca.
Hi, Ryan.
We're live. As if we already haven't been recording for a few minutes.
We're live.
And we have a guest on the episode today. Who is the guest here?
Andrew. This is Andrew, my best friend.
Hello.
Hi, Andrew.
It's really awkward because I'm sitting right next to him. I even gave him my chair.
Yeah, so we'll see how the recording goes. Hopefully the audio's picked up good.
He was like earlier today, he was like, I'll be professional, and I was like, please don't.
Please don't be. Don't show me up.
Points. I feel like I need some pointers on, or not I need like points for myself for me being nutso. I feel like he helps with that.
So we brought Andrew on because he has specific expertise in a question that we got, and we think he's going to provide some assistance here with the kind of social media marketing question that we got. So do we want to just read the question?
I think Andrew, you should tell people who you are and what you do and what's your background.
I'm Andrew. I'm 22 years old, which makes me a Gen Zer, which makes me an expert at technology. Just born with it. And I own the business That's So Andrew, and it is a brand focusing on items that really capture my snarky and sassy personality. So we have apparel, mugs, not homemade mugs. They're
China-made.
China
shit. No, but they are good quality because his best friend's a potter.
This is true. And other items like that. So very gifty and novelty items.
And you just got a t-shirt printer?
Just got a t-shirt printer.
And selling t-shirts and stuff?
Yeah.
Nice. So was a t-shirt printer...
Tell him how much you made last month. Tell him how much you made last month. Just do it.
In what? In all of it, or a very specific income?
Also tell him how old you are.
I did. I said I was 22.
He said 22.
Okay.
So last month in online sales, I did $17,300.
That makes him more successful than both of us. I feel like this chair is really squeaky. Yeah.
And who are you selling to for that? Is that mostly U.S. based people? Is that?
Yes. I'd say probably like 98% is domestic. I only sell international through my Etsy shop, and I get like 3 or 4 a month.
What would you say your breakup between Etsy and like
Shopify?
Shopify is like Shopify is his regular website, and then Etsy is just through Etsy, right? You don't have any other selling avenues, right?
And Amazon.
But
that's
just
new. Started, so I don't have any data report on there.
So let's just skip Amazon. Don't include Amazon.
We can skip them. So right now, a majority is through my Etsy because I'm working on transitioning to a Shopify store. Once you hit a certain point on Etsy, it's just more worth it to have more control over your brand and do a website through Shopify or Squarespace or whatever the platform that you use to host is. And so right now, it's probably about 80-20, 80% Etsy and 20% Shopify.
Okay.
So most of those sales were directly through Etsy. Okay. And all of that, all that income include the shipping costs and everything that customers are paying?
Yes and no. Some of my items are free shipping, so it's included in that. And then some of them aren't, so it's not included. So it's just weird how Etsy does the reporting, which is another reason I want to switch to Shopify fully.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd say product was probably around like $14K.
$14K?
Yeah.
Can you tell where on Etsy, can you tell if they're coming from? So the question that we have is in reference to Facebook groups. and I was wondering if do you have your phone?
Yes.
Can you tell like where it's coming from? Like do they have a thing where you can like say, oh, it came from this link, that it came from there?
Yep, Shopify and Etsy tracks where traffic comes from. And so, give me just 1 second.
We're gonna read the question.
Yeah, I think for reference, like my Etsy shop probably gets 54% from my social media, versus whether it's Facebook, Instagram, etc. And then like 46% is within Etsy. So that's through searching, SEO, all that kind of stuff, whatever Etsy promotes and things like that. So that's like kind of my breakdown.
And then they also do that off-site advertising, which is a fun one.
Yeah.
So for the last month, Etsy brought me 80% of my visits, and I brought 18%. And then all of my Shopify traffic is social media generated by me directly.
Like by your group?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's read the question.
Okay. So the question actually mentions Instagram a lot, but it says, have you guys done an episode on Instagram marketing specifically? I've started using a Facebook group for online sales, and that's working really well, as in did better than my best show in one weekend event. However, I feel lost and clueless about Instagram, other than posting pics and hoping I get followers. That came from Sarah H. Ceramics. So I think, like, me personally, I don't know much about Facebook groups and generating sales through that, so I think that's where Andrew's going to help us out a little bit, and then also talk about how Instagram drives his traffic and helps him get sales too. So yeah, that was the question from Sarah.
I would also like to point out that if you're good at one thing, don't be upset that it's like accept the fact that your Facebook is doing really well. Like, you don't have to be on Instagram. If it's not driving you sales, you don't have to be there.
Right. Each platform's different.
Yeah. So if something works for you, like, take that and run with it. If something doesn't, and if like Instagram, you're like, you feel lost, like Instagram and me are not friends. And I
kind of like doubling down on what works and what doesn't, like spending your time wisely so you're getting the most return on it. If you're not getting a return on Instagram because you're not putting enough effort in or not doing the right things, then that learning curve's a little steeper to get to the success you're getting with the other platforms or other ways you're selling.
Yeah. So each platform's a little bit different, and you can be successful in all of them, but it takes a lot of time. Social media itself is a full-time or part-time job. Yeah. You see these influencers with thousands of followers. They're working 30, 40 hours a week on producing content, posting content. And I'd say the number one thing for that question is, when she says just posting and hoping for likes and followers, you also have to do your part in becoming part of the Instagram community. So you need to be following people, liking, commenting, and engaging with other people, because the Instagram algorithm rewards you using their app. So you have to respond to every comment you get. You have to respond to every DM you get, where Facebook is a lot different in the sense of, like, a Facebook page. You don't have to really engage back, and people share it, and there's all this other ways of getting exposure.
I just realized that's why Facebook works for me and Instagram doesn't, because I don't care about people.
I don't care about people.
We get it. You're famous. We get it.
No. I'm not even famous on Facebook. I don't even know why I'm famous on TikTok. But like on Instagram, I don't have very much growth, and that's probably because I have a really hard time responding back to people's comments.
Instagram requires that kind of reciprocal,
and that's why
aspect of it.
And that's why you're really good at it, Ryan.
Yeah, I think engagement is big for me, especially when people don't expect it. When they're like, "You've got this many followers, I don't even expect you to respond to me," or like make a valid comment that's not "thank you." So
yeah. And in like your guys' community of the ceramic pottery community, it definitely is more of a niche community than mine is. So it's a lot easier to grow, in my opinion, because you have all these other potters who are willing to say, "Oh, I like that about your mug," or "I like that about your bowl. You're doing this right." So it's easier to find yourself a community, and
peers. versus
peers, and
buyers necessarily.
from there you grow on the explore page or through hashtags or however to finding customers, because not every potter wants to buy another mug from someone else, but
right, that seems to be what happens a lot of the time though.
Yeah. So you find that community, they're doing your engagement, which shows Instagram that other people want to see this post. So you kind of have a leg up.
So how would you say you use your Instagram account for the business?
I focus on my Instagram.
What is your Instagram first for people that want to look while we're
my
talking?
Instagram's at That's So Andrew with an underscore. My Instagram.
Where's the underscore?
At the very end.
At the end.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's a valid question. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I tried to get at That's So Andrew with no underscore, but that was already taken. And you can't make people give up their usernames. But
well, at least you can just say That's So Andrew, and they're gonna see one of two things: one without one, and one with an underscore, or numbers or something. So
yes, and you'll figure out real quick which one's which.
Why? What's the other one?
The other one is just a boy who wants to be an influencer and isn't.
Got it.
Yes. Which I did DM him, and I tried to get him to give it to me, and he said no.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. So I use Instagram I feel like people look at a follower account and it legitimizes the brand a little bit. So I think that's one thing that Instagram helps is they discover my brand. They're like, oh, it has 13,000 followers. So clearly it's legit, or at least like seems a little bit more legitimate to them.
More legit, yeah.
Yeah, like something's going for them because 13,000 people follow them.
Right.
Did you also change it since, because it has 36 posts as of today? Was it something different and you had older posts before 36?
Yes. At the beginning of the year, I rebranded and I deleted about 300 posts.
Okay, so a lot of that follower count is not just based on these 36 posts, or most of it.
Right. So at the moment, I'm in a transition period where it's changing what I sell. And
I'm looking at the other That's So Andrew.
Oh.
He's a social media manager.
Yeah. But so I'm in the middle of a rebrand and kind of changing my niche. So it's just been a weird transition where like you lose followers because you're no longer, in their niche or in their what they want to see. And then so it's at the down, and right now we're kind of at the bottom of the down and we're starting to pick back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're kind of getting reintroduced, and you're reaching a different audience, and you have new product than what you had months ago.
Yeah. But so Instagram, it does drive a lot of traffic to my website. One thing I use is a link tree, which is something you can put in your bio, and it basically is just a link that takes you to a page, and you can put as many links as you want to other things. And so that way I can track how many times people go to my website or to my my Facebook group and my Facebook page. So I have all those links for all my social media and things. And so it does drive a lot of traffic there.
Does Linktree itself give you analytics about how much people are clicking on certain links?
It does.
Okay.
Is it free?
It is free. Well, they have a free model and a paid model, but you can do a lot with the free model. I've had it for 3 years and never paid for it.
Okay.
On the very bottom, my super fun Facebook group.
Yeah, so you can include all sorts of things, like anything you want. So I have my Facebook group linked in there, which we'll talk about, my Facebook page.
It says Linktree is currently undergoing maintenance.
That's weird. Becca's looking right at it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Weird. Okay, that's weird. All right.
Sometimes
everybody else can see it.
Maybe it's Kentucky.
Yes, it's blocked. I don't know.
But so I actually just checked my stats the other day, and my store averages about 20 link clicks per day through my link tree. So it's kind of can track what traffic's going to my Shopify, which is nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I use my Instagram obviously to drive traffic, but also to build up a community and to find influencers, which is a huge thing I do. Is I send out PR packages to influencers, and that's how you kind of can grow your audience and expand to new people.
Are you trying to get money through your investment thing?
Yes. Using the link in my bio, you can join the Stash app and get $20 for free.
That's amazing.
Is that like a referral code for Stash?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like if you're gonna do like what's
Like
that
you're gonna
one
share a Lyft code
digit
or
or
something to get free Lyft rides or something like that?
yeah,
Exactly. It's just like that.
exactly.
But Stash is
Okay.
something that I believe in, so that's why it's there. But we don't have to talk
Okay.
about that.
We don't have to talk about that. I'm learning so much about you today,
So
Andrew.
so with the influencer thing, are you promoting like free product in exchange for photographs or something like that?
Yeah, so I don't really concern myself with photographs because I have a product photographer. I'm more about I want the stories posted, I require a post, and in exchange they get up to $100 worth of free product. And so I ask for a story unboxing and then a post. And then I also give them a discount code for their followers that's commission earning. So I pay them a commission based on what sales they bring me, which I feel like is a little bit more incentive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's a difficult game picking your influencers because some of them really just do the bare minimum and some of them are here to build you up and share your stuff and earn a commission. So my top earning influencer brings me about $2,000 a month in revenue. So she's making about $200 a month
Shit, that's really
just
good.
just sharing my stuff. So
Who's that?
um, Kelly, Farm to Table
Oh.
Creation.
And then once they start getting some of those, then they'll promote you more because it ends up being more sales for them
Yeah,
or more
and then when
money for
I have a
them.
good influencer like that, I'll just send them stuff randomly. I'm like, here's my new product. So I put them on what I call my permanent PR list. So it's like every single new collection I release or new thing, I send them a little box. So
Yeah, that's great. Okay. And that's probably its own like business in and of itself to like find the right people and then
it
market and then
is.
the logistics of back and forth and yeah.
Yeah. Some are winners, some are not. But I'd say I would rather do that than pay for like Instagram marketing itself. I feel like it's more targeted because you know exactly who they're promoting to based on who you're sending it to. You know, you're sending it to someone like a Kardashian. Obviously, none of us are ever going to be able to do that, but they have a very specific clientele of like my aged group, you know, like women and
Yeah,
Like
like
the age
this
group
lady
and the
Kelly,
price
this
point
lady.
that they can afford.
Well, I shouldn't say who it is.
right.
This lady who he is his like main ambassador, I suppose, has got 92,000 followers on
Yes.
Instagram. So it's like she's got a pretty good spread, and it's straight up like to his target market.
Home
She's
decor. So
yeah,
I send her
she's a
my
mom.
mugs.
She's a Ray Dunn mug mom, and she's a white tablecloths checkered and
Hmm.
white shiplap wall. So it's like totally in his thing. What would you say for like somebody who does pottery? Like, what would be the best if you were gonna find like a brand ambassador? Would it be like a cooking, like a food blogger?
I think it depends what kind of pottery you
That's
do.
true. Like, I
So
wouldn't do well with a food blogger.
that's not true.
Okay.
I'd say someone like you who does full place settings send a home decor influencer a full 12-piece plate set and
Holy shit.
every single picture of their kitchen is going to have your plates in it.
Yeah, you'd have to have a really big return on that one.
Right.
Because it's like a $200, $300 order.
Absolutely. But it comes to them, they're going to show off your plates. They're going to use them. They're going to put them in their table settings, their cabinets, every single thing. So it's something that's very permanent in their home.
Yeah.
And so you're not talking a one-time share. That's more something that would be shared again and again. And it just gives more brand recognition to their followers for you too.
Yeah.
So for someone like you, that's what I would say. There's so many different styles of pottery. I don't know your niche.
I've actually sent some work for free to a few different people. Like there's a tea person that shares a lot of posts and talks about tea a lot. So she has like a blog about tea, and I've sent her a mug for free.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has a certain following, and she shares me occasionally, and I think she shared me like initially because like they don't expect it, so they get it for free.
Absolutely.
And it could be like, hey, I really appreciate your content. I like following you for what you put out, and I really enjoy tea too. I would love to give you one of my mugs, and then like that's kind of the way I did it.
Yes.
Without expecting anything in return. What was that?
I said I tried that once, but it totally backfired. But it's okay.
I mean, you can't expect anything in return. I mean, I probably sent it to like 4 or 5 different people for free.
Yeah.
With no expectation in
that's the
return.
thing,
So
right? Because I know that, well, before I even like knew anything about brand ambassadors or anything like that, this lady like came up to me at Leavenworth and was like, "Oh, I love your stuff. Like I'd love to like post your stuff on Instagram." I was like, "Sure." And she like sent me this list and I was supposed to like pay money for her to like post on Instagram and I'm like,
Hmm.
"I'm good."
That was her business. Like she got paid to do that.
Yeah,
Right?
it was her business. So it really depends and I would imagine, these people do this as a business. So
Hmm.
obviously, I don't know if is it better to be upfront about it or to like just send them some shit without like
Depends on who it is, right?
I've learned you need to set what you want in return for it. Don't leave it up to them to do.
yeah.
So I have a list of things I send them. I say, if you want free product, this is what you have to do. I actually have an application on my website that I make them fill out.
Yeah.
And there's little check marks and it's like, I agree to do this, this, and this in exchange for this product. So it's kind of like a contract. It's obviously not legally
Hmm.
binding in any way, but it just you just want to be clear and transparent with what you're expecting. And some people are going to say no, and some people are going to say yes. There's a lot of entitlement in the social media world, especially
No
on
shit.
influencers. So, I mean, Beck and I have both worked with a couple influencers. I got some of her mugs given to them, and one of them posted one story, and that was that. And then another girl posted this whole little setup with Becca's mug like 1 or 3 times. How many
Like
times?
4 times. She was
Yeah.
so cool about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't hear from the other ones at all. And what was funny about that situation is that it was like right when you were getting into the Instagram
Yeah.
like thing. And we went to this show called
The Great Junk
The Great
Hunt.
Junk Hunt. And it's like a show where literally like you cannot walk through the aisles. It is so packed that you just
Hmm.
can't, and it's all these like freaking moms and
Moms
they're
with
moms
buggies.
with buggies and carts that they're like
They
rolling
bring shopping
behind
carts.
you and like it is so intense and
Jeez.
and we've both done the show but he's done it a few times and I brought some mugs and I got bombarded by like 6 influencer women and they just kept on grabbing things out of my thing
Yeah, they're like, I want this, I want this.
I want this and I want this and I was like I don't even know what's happening.
So you were selling at a booth there?
I think I
Or
just brought
attending?
my shit to
She was selling
put,
out of my booth.
yeah, to put
Out
in.
of your booth. Okay.
Mhm,
He was selling cookies.
because in that event in particularly, I wasn't selling cookies, that was still home decor. In that event in particularly, she did her own booth once, and I had some of her stuff in my booth, and she had her own, and we did the same amount of sales. Because at those kind of shows, it's the booth is what sells at the display.
Yeah, my
And
display's not that.
Becca's is very open
Geometric.
air market, where
Modern.
the Great Junk Hunt in particular is very vintage home decor, like that farmhouse Joanna Gaines, like Magnolia type.
Like
So,
we're literally
like a
sitting in
local
my
show,
room right
yeah.
now and I have 2 paintings and that's because I like them and that's it. And like these people have like 25 pillows on their bed and like and
Yeah, you're setting a scene. You're creating an
Yeah.
experience more so than
that's
like
just not
a
my
market.
that's just not my
Yeah.
thing. So and which is fine. I accept that and I'm totally fine with it. It's your thing.
yes, but to back it up, anyways, it just depends. Every influencer is different. So when you get a good one, hang on to them for dear life.
Yes, that's true.
So, because some go above and beyond, and some just do the bare minimum. So
Yeah, but definitely set expectations because they'll screw you over really quick. Or they won't even screw you over. It's just that I think they're just so used to getting shit for free.
yeah, especially once you hit that certain, like I'd say over 20,000 followers, really anything you ask for, you're usually getting at least like a discount,
Yeah.
So, and they're used to working with larger brands with larger budgets. So it just depends on who you find. Some people are really humble about it, like Kelly, who my main ambassador with the 92,000. She still, thanks me every time I send her a package. Where other people, I don't hear for 3 weeks that they even got the package. So
That would be me.
So yeah, just hang on to good influencers is all I have to say, and set your expectations and be clear.
Mm.
Yeah, and don't feel like you have to give stuff away for free. I've done that just because I don't rely on this money. So like me
Right.
giving away a mug here and there is not killer to me. It's like a $25 mug and then it's $7 or $10 to ship it. So I'm out $35,
Mhm.
and there's no expectation on their end to do anything. Normally they would, if I'm genuine about it, and say like, hey, I really appreciate, put something heartfelt in there. Don't just like send it and drop it and say nothing. But yeah, for like somebody that's kind of early on with Instagram and they're just trying to figure out what to get out of it, I mean, I would say definitely have your website on there as like your point of contact for people to go and kind of transact if they like your stuff or your website or your Etsy shop or whatever. But I mean, consistency, like having stuff on your Instagram frequently is like you've got to have some kind of consistency and
didn't you post
regularity.
I feel like you have a pretty large following. It hasn't grown at the same rate as Ryan's though.
Right.
And you've also had different brands. So I'm going to ask Ryan this question. Ryan, didn't you like post a picture a day? And isn't that when you saw like, don't you post a picture a day? And isn't that like when you
post
started
like 5 days a week?
That was when you started seeing the most growth?
I mean, it's hard to just say like this specifically. I think the majority of my growth in like once it starts getting a lot bigger is when people like repost my stuff. So in pottery, there's a lot of accounts that repost your stuff, whether it's Paul Blaze that is a bunch of just photos, or there are Insta Pottery and pottery making info and all these pottery accounts that reshare people's work that are like satisfying videos or an interesting technique. So I think that's where most of my like growth and trajectory started going up significantly, because they post it. They've got 80,000 followers or 100,000 followers or whatever, because all they do is post a bunch of satisfying videos that are interesting to watch. Like there's no limit to the number of those kind of videos on Instagram in the pottery space. And a lot of customers and potters outside of a lot of people that don't like know our medium are just, I think they're just like amazed by the medium itself and what goes into the process. So even just seeing people throwing is satisfying, much less like a more intricate part of the process that's interesting. So, I mean, those accounts have their own kind of following, and there's a lot of like reposting without credit and stuff like that goes on. But the ones that ask to repost your stuff and they've got a good following, I mean, you're going to get a lot of people that see eyeballs on your work that didn't before, and your following is going to go up. It's a little bump here and there. You might get a little increase, but I think putting out content consistently and pushing yourself to try to show interesting parts of your process is going to like help you grow, rather than just putting out photos of finished work only, or like not good lighting and you're taking video of you throwing. Like that's not as interesting to watch and as creative as pushing yourself to do something a little different or a little more interesting. So I think that's where my growth has like skyrocketed.
And I would say that the most important part about when you get reposted is when they go and check out your page, you need to have a consistent theme of content, which I've seen your theme. It's very well lit photos. Like it's very consistent, and there's something to look at and scroll, and it gives them a justification on why they should follow you. So I think that's really important, is having a very consistent, what is that called?
Grid.
Very consistent.
If you would like a not
grid.
consistent grid, you can go to my profile. So if you want to check out a good comparison, go to my profile and then go to Ryan's profile, because my profile sucks and Ryan's is pretty good.
See, I feel like mine is kind of like all over the place too. My editing is pretty consistent, where the only editing I do is just increase brightness about like 9 to like 9 or 10. And that's the only kind of editing I do on any photo I take. So, I mean, I guess that produces consistent look, but
you have a very consistent look because it's mostly kiln photos, and they're well lit, and they're the same, and they have pretty products held by your man hand.
Your man hand.
And then there's other posts of like your display and your pottery. So
it's all the same colors too.
Yeah, it has a consistency to it.
It's consistent. And that's the thing too. I did hear that actually, is that you should be editing your photos the exact same every single time. Like don't use different filters.
Yes, that's true.
Like
I only use 2.
Yeah, you want to use like 1 or 2, and that's tops.
But then you go look at Rebecca Gravesco theme, and it's like all professional photography.
Yeah.
She's like one step up above all of us.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's kind of its own. That's got its own
just,
theme and its own aspect to it, where that's kind of the vibe you're looking for. And then if you go to like Pitch Pine, theirs is like pretty creatively pieced together, and it's got this mood and this vibe.
Yeah, and like Rebecca a couple months ago had kittens in the studio, and that was just not fair.
Oh, Pitch Pine is gorgeous.
Yeah, Pitch Pines is gorgeous. You can thank Matt
the
for
photographer.
that. Well, Matt and Tara, they're amazing.
And she has some amazing designs.
Matt, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the improvement there is just over time you're going to get better at photography as well as what look you're going for. Back when I first started, if you scroll back a long time, you can see that I was changing up filters and using black and white some, using some of the different built-in Instagram filters, and at a certain point I stopped doing that, and I was just like, hey, I'm just going to like increase brightness a little bit, and that's it, because I want it to be pretty true to color. For if people are buying stuff, they want to meet their expectations or exceed it. They don't want something that's heavily filtered and it's not going to meet what they expect.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have consistent content and well-lit content and you post consistently, your time will come. Your followers will grow. As far as like hashtags go, they're a whole game in themselves, and you just kind of have to play with them and learn what works and read some websites.
Yeah. Do you do hashtags, Ryan?
Yeah. I use a lot of the same ones. I use at least like 25 to 30 on every post.
Yeah, I know you're not supposed to use
There are a lot of the same ones, but
you can't.
What's that?
Yeah, you can't use more than 30.
They cap you.
Yeah. So
tell them that.
I choose to I typically use a bunch of hashtags that are ceramics, ceramica, like things in that realm, and then like wheel thrown pottery, and then I also have a batch of local ones that are like Kentucky made, Cincinnati, Ohio, so that I'm appealing to people that are closer to me.
Yes.
So they can either like visit a show that I go to or feel like they're closer to someone that's making something handmade. So if they want to buy something that's local, then they could support me if they're in Kentucky or Ohio or wherever. So I think that's not a bad. Or you can go like the home decor route. If your stuff is more professionally photographed and it's more staged and lifestyle, maybe home decor hashtags might work better.
Yeah, it just all depends on kind of what. It depends on the post, but I definitely have I have 15 that I just keep in a note on my phone that I copy and paste onto every post that apply to kind of everything, and then I get my niche ones in there.
Ooh! Did you know that you can do a keyword replacement for those?
A shortcut?
Yeah.
Text replacement?
Yeah, tell them how to do that.
Okay, so iPhone has a text replacement, just like if you're on a text, and I think the built-in one on iPhone is OMW, so type in OMW, hit space, it's on my way. So I just replace hashtag WHE just as a shortcut for me, and it replaces it with hashtag wheel thrown space hashtag wheel thrown pottery space potters of Instagram space. It's got like 7 hashtags, and then I know when I type those 3 things, it's going to replace it with the same 8 hashtags every time or whatever. And then I do the same thing for like hashtag KY, and it's got 10 hashtags related to local hashtags.
Yeah. I kept mine down to 5 so that I could always make sure that I had 30 in there. It didn't like go past. But I will say it bit me in the ass because I totally forgot that I did that. And then when I started posting on TikTok,
same.
And then when I started posting on TikTok, I would always go and say hashtag pottery, and then it would fill in like 6. It would fill in like 6 of these random ass hashtags.
And TikTok says no.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Wait, does TikTok do something when you put in a hashtag? Does it replace it?
No, they do hashtags, but their character count for your description is very minimal. Yeah. So you do that one hashtag and it's like maxed out already.
Yeah, it's like maxed out already. But more importantly, I couldn't figure out why it kept on filling it in. Like I'd forgotten all about it. Like 150.
That's all you need to do an abbreviation where it's not something you're typically going to type, like hashtag PT. How often are you going to type that? So it's
right. Totally. So I forgot all about it, and then 2 days ago I remembered. It took me 2 months to figure out why it kept on filling in when I had said hashtag
I
pottery.
use that all the time just for random stuff. Like I have like RD dot is going to replace it with RyanDurbinCeramics.com, so I don't have to type that in every time. Or like
Ryan, you're smart.
Like
And
D at G is like my email address or whatever at gmail.com, and like things like that's just going to save you time. Or if you type your address for people, like just do some shortcut for your business address or whatever if you have to send people that all the time.
Be like Ryan.
Be like Ryan. Don't be like
Do
that.
Save time. And there's no typos in there because it's always the same.
So yeah, I think that's all I got for Instagram. Instagram is
all
a
right.
beast, but
Let's go to Facebook because I'm curious about this Facebook group stuff. And Becca, why did you start the Facebook group, and like what are your hopes for it? And then we can see like what Andrew can guide us with.
Oh, this is kind of a loaded question. I should have thought about this beforehand. Okay, I anticipate some change within my business in the next couple of months. And anyway, I was like, oh, it'd be a good idea to have a Facebook group that is like specific to selling, because I feel like the shop is like, I feel like my Facebook group, my Facebook page for Five Lines Pottery has changed over to like,
the studio.
Like we have fall stuff this week. The hours are changing. The classes.
Yeah,
like,
you're advertising
like
the classes and the paint pot and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's like somewhat the flash sales, but I've been thinking about it for a while, and then when I saw this question this morning, I was like, I should just do it anyway. And so yeah, and so I just started the group, and I was thinking that it would be a lot easier so that people can choose to follow it, It's a little bit more concentrated, and
they know exactly what they're following it for. They know they're going to be sold to there. And they know exactly
where to look, too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay.
Tell us why did you start it, and how has it gone?
So I started my entire business from a Facebook group. I honestly just thought it would be easy, and I started.
First off, is this a private group or a public group?
I make mine private because it's a club, and not everyone's allowed in the club.
Okay.
Mostly because he started. Tell him why. Because you started doing radon knockoffs, kind of, but not really.
Well, first, okay, so the full story is it started. I was a wholesaler for radon pottery, and I was selling through that group, and so it was a very niche group, and I didn't care to start a whole business out of it. I was just like, I can get them at good prices. If you want it, I'll order it for you. Basically, is how it started. And, they paid through Venmo, and it wasn't really a business. It was just like they were paying me money. I was making a little bit.
Like a garage sale.
Like a garage sale.
Is that a way for like shops to buy that and then resell it? But
no,
you were doing it as a single person.
I was the middleman, so it's just me direct to customer.
But you were able to buy it wholesale because they offer it for like
because I had a business license and I just knew
what
to do. Yeah, so I was just a wholesaler for the company's Magenta Inc., who's the maker of Radon. So that's how I started, and then Magenta and I had a falling out, and so I started producing similar stuff at the request of my customers, and that's when my group kind of started growing. It's like, I can get custom stuff to say what I want, and then one day I said, fuck it, and I didn't want to do any of it anymore. I wanted my own brand, and so then I just kind of shifted over there, and it went through the same thing I talked about earlier, like you grow and then you shrink, so it was kind of a shrink, and then we started growing again, and so now I feel like it's a lot more genuine to my brand.
Yeah, for sure.
But when I stopped,
it almost feels like a reset a little bit because you changed really the name and
changed the full name, business name. So it was a reset. But I reset about at like 500 group members, and now it's at 2,200. And I think like the huge benefit of a Facebook group is people feel a very like personal connection to you, and so you're the face of your brand, which you should be. But you can't go on a Facebook group of Amazon and say, hey, like, I want this, or share like, I got, I got this from Andrew today. What do you guys think? Like showing like your mug collection or anything like that. So I think it's a way for my customers to really interact with each other and then me to interact them with on a personal level. And it just makes them feel better about where their money's going, about who they're supporting.
And it's like a little club.
It
Everybody
is
feels connected, and they're
Yeah.
they like chat, and like I know people have become friends on that group through.
Yeah, people have become friends. I've become friends with people, and people will come to my shows when I do them all up the West Coast. I do shows, and people will come and be like, "Oh, I'm in your Facebook group," and so it's just crazy because everywhere I go, someone knows me from my Facebook group.
And the Facebook group,
So
do they get special deals, right?
I do occasional sales exclusive to the group, but then I also do like when I release new things, they get first dibs on everything. So I lock my website with the password. I give them the password. And so you have to be part of my group to do it. And I think there's such a hype around getting my stuff is because I ask my customer group what they want to see. So, I do mugs with sayings on them. So I'm like, what do you want on a mug? And then we all vote, and it's all a good, fun time of everyone's crazy suggestions.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of
They're invested in it.
There's a lot of
they've got a piece of the pie there.
Yeah, they feel like they're part of it, and I think that it creates I don't want to say loyalty, but a brand loyalty.
It does.
Yeah,
it for sure does. It's like when I was doing the word mugs, and I would ask people what they wanted on the word mugs, and those are always the ones that sold.
Yeah, and so
they feel like they're more committed to actually buying it because they put input on it,
and they identify with it.
Yeah, yeah, they identify with it.
That's the mug that I would use because that's the mug that I came up with.
Yeah. So the people that come when I do suggestions, the people that come up with my mug sayings, if it's top voted and I make it in production, I send them one for free.
Yeah.
The vote thing is amazing. That's a great way to filter out the shit and then get
you
to
can't
the actual
do votes unless you're in a group, which is bullshit.
Yeah, the polls, I love the poll. It's in a group. But it's funny because sometimes the polls aren't right. So the very first poll I ran, the lowest voted mug said petty on it.
Oh,
but I made that for myself, and I shit you not, it was my bestseller 3 shows in a row. So take it, it's still data, but there is still an audience outside of there. So, but
just because somebody voted it doesn't mean they're actually going to spend money on it.
Exactly.
Also, note that you cannot do a poll in a Facebook page, but you can do it in a Facebook group.
Yes.
Which is what I was saying was bullshit.
That's weird.
Total bullshit.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'd have to send them to some poll software that you've got a poll set up, and then
or you make them comment which one they want, and then you have to count the comments.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
It's just a hot.
Or you're like the one that you like. Otherwise, you can just put your own, and then people got to scroll and find their favorites. And
like one time I asked what people's first names started with, which letter.
That was a mess.
And all the females that they knew what first letter of the name. And I did a tally of everything. There was 500 comments on that post.
Yeah.
It was insane.
But
okay. So what's the incentive for customers to get in your group? How do they know about your group, and how do you sell it as, hey, you should be in here?
So I put my group in my link tree, and then anytime, there's so many groups out there. I'm in Facebook groups that are very niche. So I'm in a sunflower lovers group and home decor loving group and mug loving. So it's when I'm in all those groups, and when people are like, where do you get mugs like this, or where do you find stuff with sunflowers? I post my website, but I also post my group. And I'm like, if you join my group, there's always sales, there's always freebies or whatever. So I do a lot of giveaways in there. So that's kind of how I built it.
That's how you generate people to join it.
Yeah. Yes. And then it's also
that's gaining a lot more people versus your Instagram link tree or however else you're referring people as, just other common niche groups that relate.
Right. And then it's also linked in. You can link your group to your Facebook page. So when you go to my Facebook page, it says suggested group, and it's my customer group. So that's a nice feature that Facebook added a year ago. But there's also some downsides to a Facebook group. They're a lot of work, and you also, when you get to kind of a higher volume of orders, there's a lot of people that'll use that as customer service. So you just kind of have to establish that boundary that if you need help with your order or, something arrived broken, don't go posting in the Facebook group and bitching. You got to email me. So that's, I think, my biggest.
You kind of got to moderate it and manage it a lot more.
Yeah. And, I have two of my like customers that are like they're my frequent customers. I've known them for like 3 years. I have them as moderators, and they get like a permanent 10% off discount to like moderate the bullshit that might come through the group.
Okay, I was gonna ask, do you have somebody else to help you so you can actually so you don't have to go in there when some crap comes up and you got to be like say the same shit every time, like please email me if you have issues, and then we're gonna delete this post or whatever.
Yeah, I've gone through things where people like this girl, her thing arrived broken, and I told her she had to send me pictures of the broken item, and she wouldn't. So then she went in my group and started posting about what a scammer I am and all this things and it's just like people do crazy things when they don't get what they want. There's a lot of Karens in this world, so just you have to moderate it. I'd say that's one of the hurdles. I wouldn't call it a downside, but a hurdle. And then another one is you're directly posting as yourself from your Facebook profile. So make your profile private or make a separate one. Just make sure that what you're posting on Facebook is something you're okay with your customers knowing. So if you're going to go political or you're going to go, you know what I mean? Make sure that when they go and look at your profile, you're satisfied with what you're presenting to them. Otherwise, post from a separate account or private.
You can't post inside there as a business page.
You can from a desktop, but I use my phone for everything, so I don't got that kind of time. Weird. And your engagement's actually a lot lower when you post as a page.
Yeah, I can see that. They want like genuine people.
And it's not that personal connection that I was talking about earlier.
They see it's actually you.
Yeah, it's me, Andrew, posting, not this company posting. So
do you have is there like a tag next to your name when you post? So it's like owner.
There's a little admin badge.
Admin, okay.
Yeah, and then my moderator.
So they know there's some credibility with who this person is. If they just join and they don't already know, like you will stand out.
Yeah, and when I post, the group sends notifications when an admin posts, but not when other people post. Okay. So if Becca goes in and posts, you're not going to get a notification for it unless you're friends with her on Facebook. So it just keeps it clean.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'd say my number one tip for like reboosting your algorithm is when you're under 1,000 group members, you can change your group name as much as you want. And when you change your group name, it sends every single member a notification. So that's like a trick that I learned. But once I got over 1,000, you only can change it every 30 days. So you got to be a little more careful.
What are you changing this thing to?
So like I'll like do my business name, and I'll be like, I'll do my business name, as normal in my title, and then I'll add Christmas collection live or like things like that. So it sends literally like sending them a text message for free.
Right.
And I've debated deleting 1,200 people from my group because I want to be able to change my name all the time. Because seriously, as soon as I do that, the post that I just posted would they'd click that and then the post would be there and the engagement would be high. They'd be clicking my link. So when you're under 1,000 members, I highly recommend doing that little trick. It is.
Most people out there probably, if they're starting a Facebook group, are gonna be well a ways to get there. Have you? How long have you had that group?
I did it in January of 2019. 2018. Yes, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about the management part of it. So how often are you posting to the business page and then also the group itself? And then maybe your Instagram. Maybe we could put all three in here.
Okay, so I just reset my life on what I want to do with my social media. So I'm going to post 5 times a week on Instagram. So Monday through Friday and take weekends off.
And somebody's working for you now.
Well, yes, I did hire a social media manager to do my posting for me. Because, we're all small business owners. There's a lot of shit to be done in the day.
And you do this full time too, right?
Yes.
This is your full time. Okay.
I work 8 hours a week at my real job, which is I just work as a server. I work Friday and Saturday nights because the tip money is just my fun money. So, but other than that, it's full. That's so Andrew. Okay. But so yeah, my plan is 5 posts a week. Stories, I don't really have a plan on, but Instagram stories are important, and I try to post daily on them or like every other day. And try to show your face on your stories. People don't want to see like graphics and things. They want to see you
They don't want to see polished stuff.
Right. They want, and don't refilm yourself. That's like the number one thing. People want to see authenticity. I think that's honestly Becca's, I will give her credit there. She's very authentic on her social media, no matter how
unprofessional.
No, not unprofessional. I want to say
unpolished or like
to use.
No matter how white trash you are.
No matter how white trash, yes, that's what I wanted to use. No matter how white trash you are, taking pictures of your mugs outside in an alley with a dumpster, she's still authentic, and I think that's why people follow Becca. So yeah, be authentic, show yourself. I wouldn't say post 30 stories a day like Becca. That's a lot to watch. It's not a home blog. I will say that.
That was a shot at me.
Nobody watches that many. So
Ryan posts way more stories than I do.
I post way more than you, Becca. I don't know if it's 30, but it's probably at least 15.
Maybe. I have 10 today.
That's all right. But the other day I watched your story and I was just clicking through stories and I was like, oh, I'm still clicking. So
that was one day because I was doing something and I think it was specific. Oh, it was the day that I was doing the farmer's market.
Gotcha.
There was like 45 stories.
There was a lot.
Day.
It looks like a little ant trail there at the top.
Yes.
Yeah. I made it into a TikTok. That's why
it was a dotted line.
I didn't want to.
There were no dashes. It was a dotted line across the top.
I didn't want to save any of the videos. I wanted it to be quick.
No, Pac-Man was gonna come through and just. That's what. Yeah, that was Pac-Man food. But yeah, be consistent. And then it's a nice thing is Instagram. You can also post to Facebook when you post to Instagram. There's just a little button you click when you go to post.
Yeah, so I can't do that anymore.
I post the exact same shit to my Facebook page. And I do put my hashtags in a comment on my Instagram. That way they're not published to my Facebook post because that gets messy on Facebook's formatting.
Yeah.
I go in there.
Hey, do you get your messages through your Facebook page from Instagram?
Yes.
That is the most annoying thing in the whole world.
I have all of my pages, apps, notifications turned off. Because it's too much. I
have to turn those off on
one because
Facebook side.
Yeah.
It is so annoying.
They even notify you of like likes and stuff on there.
You can.
I unlinked them. I had to unlink them.
You got to go in and mess with your settings a little bit. But so that's a really nice feature. And then the Facebook group is its own separate thing. I do a lot of my lives in there, so I show off products live, or I just go on and chit chat and have people ask questions. Becca's really good at lives on everything. But
I'm a professional liver.
Yes.
I will say that.
That's the only place I really go live is in my Facebook group. And I do want to expand to more. I just never do. And then if you're going to get into any other social media, right now is the time to get into TikTok. And you need to post 1 to 3 times a day.
Yeah, you have to post a lot on TikTok. And also you have to be authentic. And also don't ask people for their fucking views and likes. That's the most annoying thing in the whole world.
Ask them for their what? Views and likes? Is that what you said?
Can you elaborate?
No, I just keep seeing all these. I was trying to find. I can't.
Get off your phone.
Well, talk. You guys are talking.
Yeah, what are you doing?
It's a 3-way conversation, Rebecca.
It's not. Don't lie to yourself. On TikTok, I just fucking hate how all these artists come on and they're like, oh, all these people that are influencers, they're shaking their heads and getting millions of views, and I'm making this beautiful piece of art and I only got 2 views. I'm like, yeah, that's because you're posting that.
Oh yeah, don't
beg. Are you saying they're posting that on their page, or they're posting that in a comment?
Big for likes. And I have like 3 or 4 videos where I'm like, comment, like, and share, and afterwards I was like, I feel gross. And I don't think it's necessarily wrong to say comment, like, and share. I don't. But I do think that you need to take enough pride in your piece, like in your artwork, that you're not like, oh, why is this person famous and not me? It's like, just be you, like, be yourself.
Don't worry about what other people are doing.
Yeah, don't.
On any social media.
On anything, you got to be yourself, because, and if you're not, then you're just, people see right through that. And it's like my favorite, my favorite pottery TikTok is another Potter, obviously, who's like so quirky, and she's just does the funniest, stupidest stuff. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want to see. Like, that's what most people want to see. And she has grown exponentially, way faster than I have. And that's because she's like, well, she's just got that personality.
Yeah.
I don't
Who
even.
is it if people are starting to get into TikTok and want to see a guide for somebody that stands out in pottery?
It's called her name's Ashley, I think.
While Becca looks it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
I'd say don't beg for attention on TikTok. Post often, and don't post like half-assed stuff. But like the number one thing is people follow Becca because she's Becca, and if you're trying to be Becca, there's already a Becca.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I do have really shitty videos right now, and you can totally tell. Like, TikTokers definitely want good quality.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just post like crappy videos and expect them to do well. It doesn't work. It's called.
And you already have a skill set. If you can do pottery, like that kind of content would probably stand out on TikTok anyways, because a lot of other people are not doing creative things in that. Well, I don't know how many potters there are on there, but
it's growing. But
it's growing. It's just
versus people doing dances and stuff like that. But
right, there's a lot of they're called sides of TikTok. There's a lot of different sides, and the For You page, like your custom tailored content is always changing based on what TikTok thinks you want and what you engage with. And so when you're scrolling for hours, and the people that use TikTok a lot, they are like, I'll admit it, I'm on there for hours, and so you have to have something that is going to catch my attention. Otherwise, I'm going to keep swiping.
Yeah,
quickly. If I'm bored in the first 3 seconds, I'm out.
Yeah.
You're limited to only 60-second videos anyways, so
yeah,
you got to make it good.
Okay, the TikTok that is one of my favorites, her name's Ashley, and I told her like the very first time she posted a video, I was like, you're very much needed in the ceramic community. Her name is Painted and Plain, so PAINTED ANDPLAIN. Painted and Plain, and she's on Instagram as well. And she's funny, and she's quirky, and she loves cows, and she's good looking too. That helps her out, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be pretty to be famous on TikTok, though.
You don't have to be pretty to be famous on TikTok. That's for sure. You do have to be pretty okay.
You have to be interesting
to be famous on Instagram, though.
If you want to be an influencer on Instagram, you got to be pretty. Yes.
Yeah, you have
or have
to be,
pretty pottery.
And be blonde. No. But TikTok's like the trailer park of the social medias.
Yeah, but it does. People look at it as a lot of people dismiss it because they think it's all 12-year-olds.
It's not.
When it's not. TikTok has almost as many users as Instagram, and so when you think about that, there's literally people of all sorts. There's contents of all kind. There's people on there that literally post videos of frogs that have millions of followers.
Yeah. Oh, and like the paint color mixing.
Yeah.
I was like, damn it, I wish I still worked at Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah.
This lady
some of that stuff is so
just
satisfying.
Paints color mixing and people guess what color it is, and that's it.
Yep. They work at Sherwin, and she just says she watches the color go into it, shakes it up, and then you guess what color it is. And that's it.
Like, literally you could do. But here's also the thing. I remember when I started TikTok, you said Instagram like 1,000 TikTok followers is like 100 Instagram followers.
This is true.
So we're not.
It's just a nicer community, and people are more willing to follow and.
On what?
And your like account.
On which one? Which social media on TikTok? TikTok is a nicer community than Instagram and Facebook?
Absolutely.
100%.
Facebook's a bunch of old Karens. Depending on your demographic, you're older. Like, I'm not trying to date us, but like, I'd say like my age and up, a lot of my friends don't even have Facebook. So I'm like this weird in between. And I think it's because I own a business.
Yeah.
So like your millennials and up are very Facebook. And then your millennials and down are Instagram. And then Gen Z, millennials, and a couple random. Is it like boomers or the other one? TikTok's a hot mess, but it's very concentrated in the Gen Z and the millennials, I'd say.
Yeah.
People who know how to use their phone, like.
Yeah.
But then
so your TikTok is not generating sales, but it is generating attention.
Incorrect.
at
How
first
much?
attention, and then you get those genuine followers, and then it turns into sales.
Yeah, it's weird. So like, okay, so when
Because I would guess that Gen Z and millennial, you have a smaller pool of people that could afford to buy our kind of pottery, I guess, or higher end pottery or whatever.
I mean,
you are
But they
incorrect.
might have appreciation.
because they watched the process, so they learn more about you. They become attached to you, and they're little fans.
God,
But
and they're so generous.
they are
They are
generous.
so generous. Like, people on TikTok are the most generous people.
Right.
It is insane. Like, the people on Instagram expect you to put stuff up. They're
Yeah.
like, you better be putting up products because we deserve, your stuff to be on our computer. Like, like, they just expect it. And TikTok, I don't know, like, the fact that people put their Venmos on their TikToks and people just, like, donate money to them is absolutely insane to me. First,
I did that.
did people donate to you?
Yeah, I got like $400 in one day because I said I needed money to move out,
Shit.
which I did. And
Oh,
I
yeah, that's
I just
true.
put out a video and just talking about my home life, and I was like, I'm saving money to move out. And if 400 or 600 people sent me $1, I would have enough to put my deposit down.
Yeah.
And the next day, I literally woke up to $400 in my Venmo. And so I just have it stashed aside for when I'm ready, because I would feel weird using that money for anything else.
That's like
I
not
was gonna say,
okay.
doesn't that feel a little weird to have Venmo? I don't know.
But it's
Not for like.
you know what I mean? It's
No,
just
no,
like working as a
Is
community.
that what you got? Was a bunch of dollar transactions?
Some people sent like the highest one was 25, but it's like, yeah, it's just everyone. They're like, it's like an ant colony.
It's like an ant colony.
all these little workers, and they just
Weird.
help build everyone up.
Like, I can't tell you, and every single time I get a sale on the interwebs and it's from a TikTok person, they tell me it's from TikTok, which I appreciate.
In the comments, yeah.
In the the notes or whatever, they say, hey, I love your videos on TikTok.
And they want you to pack their order on TikTok. That's why they do that.
Is it?
You should start doing that. People love to see you pack up their order. I see it
God.
across. That's my entire For You page on my business page is just people packing orders for people. And people love it because then they're commenting like, oh my God, I can't wait to see it.
That's kind of cool, actually. I
Yeah.
like that idea.
Oh, maybe I should do that.
Or like they just want to see any part of the process of their thing. So,
Yeah.
You get on there and you're like, I'm throwing this mug for Kylie H and this mug for this one who ordered,
Right.
So
I've knocked down all those people because I told them I don't do custom orders.
Right.
But yeah, no, I do feel like, okay, so Instagram, Ryan, when we do a live on Instagram, I think the tops we've ever gotten to is like 20.
Yeah, probably 20 people.
20 people. The top live that I've ever gotten to was
On what platform?
TikTok.
on TikTok was 175. And
That's just unmanageable, isn't it?
And they don't even follow you.
a lot of people don't even follow you. That's the cool
yeah.
thing about the TikTok lives. And the most followers I've gained from a live is 850.
In one live.
2.5 hours.
That's awesome.
I gained 850 followers.
TikTok's just so unique because it's the easiest way to go viral because your page isn't from people you follow, what like Instagram is. I'm never on the explore page on Instagram. I'm never on that tab because I'm just not. And where TikTok, that's all I watch. Like, I don't follow half the people that come across my page. So it's the easiest way to grow and the easiest way to go viral. It took Becca one video.
Yeah.
It literally, I will tell
Pulling
everyone,
a
it takes
handle.
one video.
The pulling handle, yeah.
And now she has almost 50,000 followers.
No,
How
that's
hard
actually not
is
true.
the
I had a few.
How hard is the learning curve for the three of us? We are 30 and under.
It was tough.
How is the learning curve for like? First off, does it help going from a certain platform to another platform, like having an Instagram and then going to a TikTok, or is it just like, I mean, like teaching someone how to take good photos is one thing, and then having creative content of actually thinking about it and like putting together a video that's engaging in 3 seconds and then all that kind of stuff. Like, how steep is that learning curve?
They are all their own bees, but I would say Instagram is like a cat and TikTok is like a platypus.
I was going to say it's like a squirrel.
I say, I mean, even I as 22-year-old, I had a learning curve getting on TikTok, especially like how
Shit, man.
like it's gotten a lot more user friendly, I feel like,
Yeah.
in the recent updates, but like adding like words and text and adding sounds that I
Oh my
struggled
gosh,
with.
there's no spell check on the
There's
words.
no spell check. So it's like it's a learning curve, but I'd say like go on for like a week and just watch. And for the first couple days your content won't be really tailored to you, but once TikTok kind of figures out what you like, it takes a couple days, then it'll be better, and then you can see how people that you like do their stuff, so then you kind of can take inspiration from that on how to format your stuff.
And I don't think, and also I think that it's important to note that you don't have to be and do anything special for something like TikTok. You know, for maybe something like Instagram, it, like we were talking about, editing the photos and making sure your feed is pretty cohesive. The famous TikTokers that I've seen, not like crazy famous, they have a pretty consistent feed. But so like I would go to famous ones and look at their feeds and see how they look. However, because usually there's a way that you can like label the little icon so that people can find things easier. However, you don't have to be super fancy. If you want to just do a video without editing anything, you can. And it's not gonna hurt you by any means, you know? Like the video that made me super viral was slightly inappropriate. That was, if we all recall, I got drunk that night and interviewed Ryan. And
I don't remember what episode this was, but we talked about it on a podcast.
Yeah, it was something that, it was about doing part-time pottery with a full-time job. And that video was literally of me pulling a handle. That's it. For 34 seconds. No, 43 seconds. 43 seconds, I just pulled a handle. The lighting wasn't fantastic, but I did a voiceover on it. And I said a story.
Do you voice over most of it?
All of it.
Most of her TikToks are voiceovered, and I think that's her
I think that's
thing.
what,
I think that's her thing.
People like
I think that could be a big draw for people.
I do the same thing because I have like a very storyteller mode that I can go into.
Yeah.
And it happened because one of my videos that I voiced over popped off, and it was the first one I ever did, and it got a couple million views, and like there's so many comments. I was like, oh my god, I could listen to you like read a book or like what are those called, e-reads or whatever. And so
audiobooks.
Yeah, you have to have the audiobook. Yeah, they're like, I wish you would record an audiobook for me. So I've never I don't like my voice, but
somebody told me I should record a sleep podcast.
A sleep podcast?
Yeah, I was like, well, I record a regular one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So. People. Okay.
I'm sure some people would just like the sound of like hearing somebody throwing on a wheel and stuff like.
Oh, the ASMR or whatever. Those are really popular. There's Clay by Amanda. She's pretty popular on TikTok.
She has the top video on the pottery hashtag.
Does she?
Mm-hmm.
And she did an ASMR of just clay prep and her bag crinkling, and it is so freaking satisfying. It's like ridiculous.
Your handle video is the top 7 on hashtag pottery on TikTok.
Hey, cool.
Go to hashtag pottery. When you see a handle, that's Becca.
That's me. It's not a great video. But
yeah, I think I might dip my toe back in there at some point.
Yeah, you should. And I think that I said it before and I'll say it again. The differences between Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok is that Instagram, the people that you've already gotten, like you're not growing necessarily fast. You are reaching the audience that has chosen to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, it's a sharing world.
Right.
Like, if you want anything to move, you have to tell your audience to share it, and you have to give them incentives to share it. Like, on every flash sale I ever do, I say, please share this. If you say that you shared it and you did share it, I will give you a free pinch pot. And it works so well.
It does, yeah.
And then, in TikTok, everybody is seeing everything. So
everyone has a fair chance, even when you're
yeah,
famous.
it's like it's 100% fair chance. You just have to have the quality or the right content
or the personality.
And like my TikTok isn't growing right now. That's because I don't know what to post and I don't care.
It's just been kind of schmeh.
Yeah, and I like, I go up and I get like on a high. Now I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, if you've got to keep up with a content of 1 to 3 times a day,
that's a lot.
Like,
but it is.
Yeah.
Do it only.
Especially if you're posting to Instagram 5 times a week, as
Right.
well as whatever other. If you're going live a couple times a week or once a week or whatever, it's like.
Yeah.
My
That's
suggestion
full-time job.
is choose the one that you enjoy the most, that your followers are the most interactive and the most genuine, and run with it.
Yeah.
Because Facebook isn't dead.
No.
It feels like it is sometimes, but it's not. And a lot of the people on Facebook have a hell of a lot more money than the people on TikTok.
It's true. You can't dismiss.
Or Instagram.
Yeah, you can't dismiss the following on TikTok because I know they're younger people.
Oh, no, they're fantastic.
But they still have disposable income. Like when I was 16, they live at home rent-free. They usually have a car and a job to pay for their car. So they have money. And a lot of people don't think that they dismiss that. They're like, oh, they have no money.
Yeah.
And then
they do have money.
And if you have 1,000 people or if you just need like 1% of 50,000 people to give you money versus
500 people.
1% of 200 people on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like it could be the same number of like value or.
If you so let's say if you were selling stickers, you would sell those on TikTok. If you're selling $3,000 vases, you might want to sell those on Facebook
and Instagram.
If you're selling, I don't know what Instagram would be, but like clothes
style,
or style, that's on Instagram, right? So the small stuff especially, it can go really fast on TikTok.
Yeah, they're like 10 and under.
Yeah,
$10 and under. Like
if you sell tiny pots or cheap pots or something like that, that would be great for something like TikTok. Because a little bit of money, they have no problem just saying like, hey, I want to support you. Like, I hope I can support you.
Yeah.
And they're just really passionate about that kind of, like, there's those one videos where people ask for like, is it 5 cents or 10 cents?
The tipping videos?
Yeah.
They ask for 50 cents.
50 cents.
And
from people.
Then they have it Venmo'd, and then they go every Friday and they tip someone with all of that money. And they have, I think the highest one I ever saw was $2,200 just from TikTok people Venmoing 50 cents. And it's like,
they all Venmo one person, and that one account is going to give that money to somebody else?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They go and they get it in cash, and they go tip someone, and like then they record the reaction of that person, usually crying.
Like it drives through or something like that.
Yeah.
Usually crying.
They usually cry, but
it's true.
It just has a more community
and
feel.
It's good content afterwards, I'm sure.
It's wholesome content.
Right.
It's
makes you feel good,
and it only costs 50 cents.
Right.
Or you help Becca and her needing rent, and you're like, here, let me buy this $7 pinch pot.
Right. And I have a really hard time asking for money, so I haven't done that on TikTok. So, and I don't know if that'll ever change, but because I don't need
it feel a little weird to put your Venmo, for me, I don't know, to put my Venmo on there or something and have people give me money, but yeah.
I just feel weird putting my Venmo anywhere because it's like, why would I want 50,000 people to see my Venmo?
It's like,
that's the thing for me.
Yeah. It's like, why are you giving me money? Like, are you paying for the content that you see that I'm giving for free?
But
is it because I want that?
I know. I tell them not to.
I want that like leverage of like giving it for free so that I don't expect anything. So that if you do buy something, you're kind of like narrowing that a little bit. You're paying for a mug, so you're getting something physical out of it to offset some of the value that you've got from watching.
It's not a donation.
The process.
It doesn't feel like a charity.
Yeah. Yeah, like I want to work for the money that I've gotten. And I do feel like, though, there's a lot of creators on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook that work really hard, and that's the way they get paid.
Yeah.
By Venmo,
Actually, maybe I'm just downplaying the creative aspect of making content.
Yes.
that because I make a physical thing that sells and has value in and of itself, I'm devaluing the actual content creation part.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where it's like, oh, I can see where they would give money for that part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
like,
do appreciate that.
I
sure.
could see you doing a TikTok more focused on like the business side of pottery, which I feel like that's not really on there, you know? Like I've never seen a video on how to price a pot. And
I did that the other day, actually.
right. So like the content you guys talk about on the podcast, I feel like that's a hole in there that would do really well. And you're not selling anything, but you're giving out advice, and advice isn't always free.
Advice isn't always free. It is for us, but yeah, that's the kind of thing. Yeah, it is. It does take a lot of mental toll, and so I do understand why people would ask for money. You know.
Yeah.
It's still not my thing, but it's, I understand.
I mean, I was seeing some things like on Instagram where people were putting out those infographics in the last few months, and people were putting their Venmos out there and getting paid for they're like, we appreciate your research, but it was kind of like, what are you paying me for here?
Yeah.
I don't know. That felt a little weird. I heard some stuff about that, but
social media is a weird thing.
Okay.
So true.
So most of your sales are the Facebook group is driving a lot of that. The Facebook side of it is driving a lot of those from
my
what you
Facebook group
were
and my
initially
Instagram.
saying, right?
Yes. Yep.
Way to bring us back, Ryan.
Yes.
Way to bring us
And
back.
you're mainly driving people. You're mainly driving people through just, hey, you have access to the website. It's not, hey, I have this for sale. Send me through Venmo or send me your email kind of thing. It's not a lot of like legwork.
No, it used
in that
to be
aspect.
like that, but that is a hot mess. It's a lot of work. I don't recommend it. I just drive them 100% to my website.
You're like giving them direct links.
I'm just
like,
giving them
hey, this
direct
just
links
came out. Here's a direct link.
the product link, not the web link. And I say, here's a $5 off coupon for being part of the group, or here you get it a day earlier. And so I kind of treat my Facebook group the same way I treat my like email subscribers, and I give them that early access, that VIP, like that little club feeling. And it's not, it's free to be in it, so it's not costing them anything. And I feel like they benefit in the long run if they're active shoppers. And then
are you giving the entire group public links to your Etsy listings, or is it Shopify. To your Shopify listings? Okay.
Yes. So currently I don't promote my Etsy at all because I don't want to pay them 5% for traffic that I brought. Because Etsy has their processing
fee. That's still 80% of your sales?
Yes, right now. It's just because I'm in that weird transition phase. So I'd like to get to the point where majority of my sales.
I cut out there for a second.
Sorry.
Did you? I think the connection was cutting out. Did you still say that Etsy was 80% of your sales though? And
Etsy
or was it the other way around?
80% of my traffic. And what did I say?
Oh, okay.
Etsy is 80% of your traffic, but it's not. It's just through Etsy. Like people, it's like his products have done so well on Etsy that they're just on Etsy.
Yes, and in every Etsy order, I include a postcard telling them to go to my website. I give them a discount code for my website. So I try to, every person that comes from Etsy that Etsy gives me, I try to move to my website because it costs me less in processing fees, and I also can present my brand how I want to in a controlled way through my own website. Okay. So that's why I'm transitioning, but majority of my sales are still on Etsy right now because I'm still in between that transition period.
Okay. So every chance you get, you're directing them to your website. So the group sales that's driving a lot of like repeat customers and probably higher purchase orders is going directly to your website. Okay.
Absolutely. Because Etsy takes that 5% fee, and it's, in my mind, I'm like, why am I paying Etsy 5% when it's my customer and they didn't do any of the work?
I feel like I'm paying 5% for like all of the nice things behind the scenes of the sellers platform and the listings, but if you have a lot of the same exact products, then I'm sure it feels like they're not doing as much of the work because you can have multiple quantities and do that kind of thing.
But if you're gonna
like, go ahead.
if you're gonna add a listing on Etsy, it's the exact same as adding it to your website.
Yeah, but what he's saying is like the differences between him and you is he has different mugs. Like one mug is this one and the next mug is this one, and
I get that.
you have like 20 of that mug
Right.
and 30. So it's like it's a lot easier for him.
It's actually the exact same.
Wait.
Because if you have 5 different mugs and you're gonna make 5 different listings, putting them on Shopify or putting them on Etsy is the exact same amount of work. And it's just like you sell on a website, not Etsy. And it just depends who's driving your traffic.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what it comes down to. I will never get rid of my Etsy because Etsy is always going to bring me revenue from customers I don't have.
Yeah. That's true.
My thing is, which I cross sell, so that's kind of I guess that's the difference, is I can put my one mug on multiple platforms because I have inventory of it.
Yeah.
So
right.
I guess yeah. So that's probably
why I gave up Etsy, was because I was like, I can't do this. I can't like have something.
You can't keep up with all the different places you have it sold. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't have this on Etsy and then take it to a show and then remember to take it off Etsy and do all these things. Now it's so easy because Square is linked into my website. So if I sell a mug at a show and I have a number on it, then I can just find that and put it right through Square.
So it takes the inventory out.
Takes the inventory out, and it's totally seamless. And that's what's really nice about that. But yes, that's the difference.
Yeah, because right now I keep separate inventories for both my sites.
Yeah.
So cross-selling is definitely interesting, regardless if you have multiple of one product or not. So
how's the shipping differences between the two, between Etsy and Shopify? Do you have good integrations and good prices and all that good stuff between the two?
The USPS discount is exactly the same. Shopify, you get a UPS discount that's crazy good. It's like sometimes it's like 60% off. So my wholesale orders and things like that, I ship through UPS.
Not FedEx.
No, because that Shopify discount is crazy.
Really?
It's so good.
I paid $24 for a 50-pound package that was 20 by 20.
Yeah, but that's California.
I know, but it was amazing.
West Coast, I'm like
so excited about it.
You know, we ship from Washington State, so anything past the Midwest, shit gets expensive.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's it true. Definitely when I'm going to Florida or New York or Texas, UPS, that discount really comes in handy.
How much do you think for a big box to Florida?
I have no idea.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you mainly shipping? Are you shipping like 2 things on average at a time, or is it one item? Or
my average is usually like a 2-pound package. So 2 mugs
pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
My goal this year was to ship things the size of a mug and smaller because I hate shipping big things because it costs money and it sucks.
Can you also ship like first class?
Not my mug, but my apparel and things.
Not the mugs, but
yeah.
He tried.
Oh, I used to.
So that's your way, so you can ship smaller things, is to like have stickers or smaller items that can go first class.
Yeah. As far as like the integration goes, all the shipping's really the same. Shopify has that UPS discount, but Etsy also has the FedEx discount. They just integrated better. And then I actually don't ship directly through either of the platforms. I ship through a third-party shipping service called ShipStation, and it has all of my stores linked in one, so I can just fulfill orders and I don't have to sign into a bunch of accounts. Because I have 2 Etsy shops, a Shopify, I just added Amazon, and then I also sell on this platform called Jane. So
it's a lot.
It's a lot, so you have to have that third-party integration.
So are all of those? I'm guessing you pay for ShipStation. And then it has integrations with all the other platforms.
Yes. So I have a negotiated contract with FedEx. So that's linked to my account, which is then integrated with my ShipStation. My USPS account is integrated through stamps.com. They give you a free stamps account. So that's where all like the money goes through. And then I don't have an integration with UPS. So that's the one thing, is if I ever do a wholesale order, I have to go right through my Shopify to get the discount.
They're dumb because UPS is dumb.
They are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to give people context, how many orders or how many things are you shipping a month?
Okay, so
because when you talk about all these integrations, they're probably like, do I really need all that? I mean, and then like, what do they actually need for their
Before he
area?
answers this question, I'm going to say that I use Shippo through Weebly as my third-party integration, and it works really well too.
Yeah.
And I only have one website, and it still gives you a really good discount. So, and it's free. So
Yes.
And the benefits of those sites are the bulk discounts that they can offer, as well as the interfaces for like when you get an order, how does it get fulfilled, sort of thing.
yeah, like I think that the
That's kind of
benefit
what
for
you
me for Shippo, do you need to leave soon?
No.
Okay. The benefit for me for Shippo is that if I have all of the same size, I can just click all those and then change the box size all at once. And I can buy all of the shipping all at once. And like I can fulfill all of the box sizes, even if they're all different, and then buy them all at once. And then they print out really easily. You get the discount. It is connected through my FedEx because I also have a FedEx account that has its own discount. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more seamless. Like Weebly, for instance, you can't print, their shipping isn't the best. You can't print packing slips, and so I print packing slips through Shippo, and that just helps me put the right things in the right boxes. And it's free for that, and Shopify or ShipStation is free up to a certain point as well.
$10 a month if you ship under 50 packages a month.
Yeah, $10 a month if you ship under 50 packages.
Mine's 30. I ship to circle all the way back to your question. I ship 200 to 400 packages a month.
But let's be clear. I have helped him pack up 350 packages in a weekend.
I shipped 414 packages on Monday.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
An entire 16-foot box truck.
Yeah, so if you're questioning the packing skills, like Becca has packed a few boxes of pottery and other items of miscellaneous sizes. So
no, don't question Becca's packing abilities because she taught me.
I did.
And my shit don't break.
I did.
So she knows what she's talking about. I just use her methods on a higher volume.
Yeah, like I ask him questions on pricing for shipping, and he asks me questions on how I should pack something.
Yeah.
We're a good team that way.
But this is
I have a question that may relate to others as well. With those kind of integrations, if you don't know exactly what the total weight is going to be, can you like estimate it and then they will correct it if it's wrong a little bit? Like if I know a mug is about 1 pound and 6 ounces and it ends up being 1.8, will they correct that and like charge me appropriately?
You just gotta make sure.
Or do I just go on with like flat rate and just say I don't want to deal with the weight thing and I just want to say flat rate $13 and the customer pays more?
Listen, Ryan. If you're shipping flat rate boxes,
I already know what you're laughing about, but
I envy the shit out of you if you ship flat rate boxes because none of my shit fits in those. However,
some people do that because they don't want to deal with the difficulty of like knowing what their actual weight's going to be. So I know a few people locally that do that.
This is all I'm gonna tell you, and leave the rest up to your imagination. I don't own a scale, and I enter weights for all of my packages. I have an idea of what something weighs. Like my mugs, I send them as 1 pound, which they weigh like 1 pound and an ounce. And so I guesstimate the best I can. And the Postal Service does have scanners. And so when something is wrong, they just bill your account. And so it's super easy. I will tell you that if you want to lie,
they bill your ShipStation account.
They bill my ShipStation account. Yeah, it's happened.
You said that was USPS.
Yes. The other FedEx and UPS I've never been billed for, but USPS does because they have like these automatic sorting machines that weigh and measure your stuff. But it doesn't really happen that often. And if you're gonna lie about your postage, which you shouldn't because we need to fund the USPS Postal Service. Don't lie about first class mail because every single first class package gets weighed. So when your package is 1 pound and you ship it as 15 ounces to save $3, no. They're going to be delivered back on your doorstep with a note that says you need to fix your shit.
How do you know this, Andrew?
Oh wait, what? How does the Are you supposed to you can declare a mug first class if it's under a pound, if it's
Yeah.
under 16 ounces, even though it's like I thought. Okay, so that's technically a different class. It's first class. It's not
First class
priority.
mail, anything under 15 ounces, legitimately, you can ship first class mail. It takes 2 days longer to get
under
there.
16 ounces, actually, because I did one.
Oh, commercial is, yes, I think it's 15.9 is actually like the limit.
Yeah.
You can ship first class. It doesn't matter what it is. Nintendo.
Box size is not important.
Box size is not important, but when you have a big box and you're adding all this paper and stuff, that adds to the weight. So just keep that in mind. I sell flasks as well, and they weigh 9 ounces. I did weigh them because anything under first class, I'll weigh. They weigh 9 ounces, and they only cost me $3 to ship, and it's a dream. It's the best shipping of my life because on average I spend about $14 a package.
So what he's saying is, don't lie.
Under a pound.
Under a pound.
So if you're on the border of those two, go with weighing your package and actually knowing what it's going to be.
If you're on the border of those two, choose up.
Yeah.
Because they'll get you.
They'll weigh your shit and they will charge you.
Especially if you're shipping over 300 pieces.
And they will send it back to your doorstep.
And
the actual physical pieces,
and then
they didn't continue shipping them and then bill you.
I got 52 packages returned to my porch that I then had to reprint labels for and reship, and I was out all the money. It was karma. I deserved it. We've learned. Don't lie under a pound. Anything over, guess.
And I don't lie pretty much ever. If I actually don't weigh my stuff anymore, but I do always kind of overshoot a little bit. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I know that my mugs weigh about a pound each.
Right.
Like, that's classic. Or the tumblers weigh about a pound. If I'm putting it in a box, it's going to weigh a pound 0.5. Like, 1.5 pounds. Right. Like, that's just what it is. And I rarely ever do first class. If I do, I weigh it. But I always guesstimate all the other ones. Like, if I put 3 mugs in a box, it's going to weigh 3.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Or 4 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Which the post office rounds. So if you're doing 3.2 pounds, it's going to charge you for 4 no matter what.
Right. So I think it's fine.
Oh, really? So it's at the pound markers when you get above like 2 pounds or something, or above what?
Over a pound, it charges. So basically, first class is by the ounce up to a pound, and then it charges you for 1 pound packages, 2 pound, 3 pound, 4 pound. There's no half ounces. They don't care about it.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So if I'm gonna ship a mug, I know that it weighs 1 pound and a half an ounce. I'm shipping it for 1 pound. But if I'm shipping 2 mugs, I know that it's a little over 2, so I ship it for 3 pounds.
Okay. Because the pound markers are what's important for us.
So they round up, right?
Yeah, round up. They always round up.
So if it's 2.1 pounds, like if it's 2 pounds, 3 ounces.
They're charging you for 3.
They're charging you for 3.
Okay. The struggle I have when I do Etsy is if people buy multiples, the weight is always fucked up. Like, it's never perfect. If they get like 3 things, it's going to cost, their shipping could be like $25, but I can fit it in a box that's 12 by 12 by 8 or something. And it ends up being like $12. So it's like, I got to refund them. Usually I end up refunding the customer the difference because I don't want to take out $8 that they didn't actually have to pay. That's bullshit because they overestimated. So Etsy's, usually I usually charge like 50 cents per piece extra for like the shipping part, and then the difference I'll refund them. So I don't know how to get. Do you still have those issues with Etsy and other shipping platforms? For multiples?
I don't even look at what Etsy charges for my shipping, so I don't know if I'm paying over or under.
It all evens out.
I enter in all my items usually, like my bigger items, they're usually just purchased by themselves. So I enter the dimensions and usually it's very accurate. Honestly, and then one thing about Etsy is they have that free shipping guarantee over $35, and most of my orders are over that. So it's not really.
Oh, so you do take advantage of that on Etsy?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I've been doing recently is that I do $5 flat rate shipping on the website, and it's been awesome.
People hate paying shipping.
They hate paying shipping. $5 seems like a reasonable price, especially if they buy 3 mugs. But locally, like for a wine glass, locally I sell it for $20. Online I sell it for $25 because I've added in the price of shipping and then $5 flat rate shipping. I can pretty much guarantee that if I ship one mug or one wine glass, it's going to be $9 in shipping. If I ship two, it's going to be about $15. But that $5 extra that I've added to the item makes that total $15.
Yeah.
And it has worked really well, and I don't think I've lost barely any money.
And it's more appealing.
It's kind of a mental shift in like
Yeah.
how they're paying for it.
It is.
And it's so easy, you know, and it's nice because then when locals come in, I say, actually, it's 20 instead of 25. And it's easy to explain to. And if you explained it to somebody, I don't think anybody would get mad.
Yeah.
You say, hey, it's $5 for on the back end just for shipping and handling. But
Yeah.
and it literally works out pretty clean almost every single time.
And subconsciously, it makes your product seem more valuable because it's
Yeah.
a higher price tag. And if anyone questions it, just tell them to go on Amazon because that's literally what Prime is. Your shipping's just calculated into your item.
Right.
As an Amazon seller, that's how it works.
And I've told people that's what I do, and everybody's like, that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, and it's worked so great. And I learned that, well, Rebecca Graves, I actually ordered something from my mom, and she had $5 flat ship, and I was like, I should do that.
Yeah.
So smart.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I do the free shipping over $35. On my website, I do free shipping over $25. And it just gets those cart values a little bit higher as well.
Wow, we went all over the place today, didn't
Social
we?
media and shipping.
Social media and shipping. That's what it's good for.
Could be
What
two
about
episodes.
if people are just starting with the Facebook thing? Like, how would you deter them from all the extra work that goes into that? Like, would you say don't ask for emails and stuff like that and handle it that way?
What would
Like,
you not do?
would you rather like
Okay.
what's an entryway? Is it like invoicing someone? Is that the easiest way?
I got it.
If you don't have actual
No.
products.
Square sales is the easiest.
Square sales or Square invoicing is the easiest.
Square
because
online checkout.
That. I haven't used it personally, but I've seen Becca use it, and if I were to go back, that's what I would use because I previously used PayPal when I started.
Because I'm just going to interject really quick. Because Square, you can look at it on your dashboard on Square. It's the Square online checkout. You can also do it on your phone. But if you have it on your website or if you have it set to ship, then it asks for their information and gets all of their shipping information, so you don't have to collect that personally. That's what was really great about it.
Yeah. So
continue.
You can run live sales and updates through your Facebook group and do the comment sold theory. And then instead of saying what's your email address for invoicing, whatever, you just send them the link. They buy it. It's done. It's easy.
Fantastic.
So if you're going to do that way, that's what I recommend. I wish that existed 2 years ago when I started. I'd say don't invite a shit ton of your family members because they're
not going to buy anything.
They're not going to buy anything. And honestly, it's better to invite your friends and tell your friends to invite your friends. But like family gets weird because it's like, you don't want your family on there because they're like asking for a discount and things like that. It depends on what kind of family you have, but my family's cheap. So I'd say, and you kind of feel weird going live in front of people that you know. So you're going live in your Facebook group and then like your mom joins and then you like kind of feel like a little different, not authentic.
And
Your mom's watching.
yeah. You might get like a
live
comment
on TikTok.
that's like, "How was your weekend, honey?" or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah, like it's fun, but like get off my live, mom. And then I'd say my advice, which is a good trick that I learned about halfway through, is I have rules that people have to agree to, and I have member screening questions. And now one of my questions is you have to give me your email, and then I add you to my marketing list.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So
Can you go in there afterwards and get those?
No.
You have to do it right when they
I do it
join.
in the member screening questions. I go, to join this group, what's your email?
I know, but when they do, like, can you go back? Like, if you accept them into the group, can you go back and find that email later?
I've never done it, so I don't know. I've only just done it right before I approve it.
What does it actually do? Does it just send a request to you and says these are the answers to their questions?
So it's a member request because it's a private group, so they're not admitted to the group until I approve them. So basically, I copy their email, paste it in a spreadsheet, and then I approve them, and then I go upload the spreadsheet to my email list.
Okay, cool.
So
if you have a website, you could always just go into your website, put in their email, and like submit for them, and then that could kick off an automated email. That might be
yes,
good.
but I get
But you can forget about it actually.
of members. When you have too many members, that takes a lot of time.
I got you.
So it's easier just to add them to the list. But just make sure, like, in your question, it's like,
Oh, this is the ones that I did for my questions. I said, do you like pottery? That should be a yes. And what item would you like to see for sale again soon? And then do you agree to the group rules? So I should probably do the email one, but I don't really care about their emails.
Yeah. So you can gather information from your followers in your questions too. So I definitely would do the questions. And people who don't fill them out, they don't care to be there anyways. So it kind of filters out the spammy people.
Yeah, that's a good filter.
It's a filter, yeah. And then I would definitely just like keep yourself authentic, and like don't forget to introduce yourself occasionally, which you should do on all social media, but like make sure your profile picture is a picture of you, not like your logo or something. And yeah, and make your group title something fun, like Becca's is 5 Lines Potheads. So you're part of the Potheads, or so that's what I got.
Keep it like people can only get certain things in the group versus just seeing the same stuff that you repost on Instagram and your business page and all that stuff.
Yeah, my group is kind of where I put my behind the scenes stuff. So like the other day I redid my shipping space, and I was like, I got these cards from IKEA. What do y'all think? And everyone's like, oh, looks so good. Like, or I'm so happy to see how far you've grown, because people are personally invested into you.
Yeah.
And then, there's like this line of professionalism that a lot of us present when it comes to your Facebook group. Get rid of it. Like, just be real. So. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That was all the questions I had.
All the answers I have. And that was social media and a little bit of shipping with Becca, Ryan, and Andrew.
We should probably bring you back at some point and do a full-on shipping one. Like where people ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll read the questions before.
Yeah.
Because Becca didn't.
We didn't have questions. Can't blame me. Also, I did drink some wine before I came here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Say your Instagram.
Oh yeah. How do we find you on all those different platforms?
On Instagram and TikTok, it's at That's So Andrew with an underscore at the end. And on Facebook and my Facebook group, you just can Google, or you can just type in That's So Andrew, and it'll come up because they don't have the @ symbols on there.
And for everybody that's mad that he ships stuff from China, I made sure that he had Cone 10 porcelain, so
it might be better than yours.
It might be better than yours. So that's it. You need to make that a tagline. It might be better than yours.
Should I give them a coupon?
People shouldn't be discouraged. Code. Oh yeah. Go for it. What's the coupon code?
Use code wheeltalk for 20% off.
Woo!
www.that'ssoandrew.com.
We'll put it in our description.
Then we'll get a kickback.
Yes.
Yeah.
5% each.
I did it. When does the mug collection release?
November.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I did a.
Becca sold out.
I sold out?
To me. No, you sold out.
I did
to
sell
China.
out. I sold out to China. No, a while back, a lot of people remember probably that I did a Believers collection, thanks to Andrew. And I did
extended because of Andrew.
On
her word mugs that she no longer makes.
Right. I did a Yeti one, a unicorn one, a mermaid one, and an alien one.
And I have just convinced her to bring back the designs and do a collaboration with me. So she sold out on her designs, not her pottery. And so we have a collection coming out in November with the Believers in my style for designs.
Oh, so it's actually her physical pottery with her decals, or it's your
It's
pottery
etching.
with
It's
her
my
decals.
pottery with her design etched into it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the style
Cool.
that I do.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know
Cool.
that I used to do graphic design. Well, I like
And she has a little bit
studied.
of a degree in graphic design.
I studied graphic design, so that's a lot. I do a lot of graphics for both of us, so
Yeah.
Cool.
But those will be out in November.
those will be out in November. So look for them.
So it'll be 5 Lines Pottery by That's So Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get all your people that have been asking for word mugs.
Remember, Cone 10 porcelain.
Cone 10 porcelain, microwave and dishwasher safe.
And I also designed the mug too.
She did. Fun fact about my mugs is I made Becca sit down on a wheel. I drew a shape on a piece of paper. I made her throw 3 mugs with her nice handles, and then I had China mold them to make what my shape is today. So she did sell out, but she didn't get any money from it.
That's true.
Oh, so it's not just a menu. It's not just a factory mug that you picked out of a list or
Yeah,
something.
no,
Nope.
no. It's designed by
It's designed by me
us.
and Becca.
Us.
And then all of the design work's done by me, and most
Yeah.
of the lettering, all of the lettering that you see on my mugs is actually my handwriting that I converted into a font.
Yeah. So it is.
Ugh.
It's not catalog Chinese
No.
China bullshit. You know what I mean?
No.
It's
Mhm.
my stuff that I get from a manufacturer.
So you are supporting a small business in America.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
I don't sell out.
And
I
you're
don't
get-
sell off somewhere.
And we tried to find a company in the United States.
We've tried. Still to this day, I
Still.
want to switch. But there's
So-
no manufacturers in America that do the minimum, like the order quantities that I do, and they're all booked out for like 10 years,
Yeah.
literally. So,
Shit.
but as soon as I can source,
Yeah. So
I will.
your main profit is coming from volume. Like it's the profit margin and the price of the materials and stuff is low, but the product item that the customer's paying is low. So you're making a small profit on each item. That's why you're shipping like 400 a month.
Yeah, I
or
ordered
200 a
5,000.
month.
I just ordered 5,000 mugs. I sell about 12,000 mugs a year.
Holy shit.
You want to make 12,000 mugs, Ryan?
No.
All right. Well, when you're ready
Screw
to
that.
sell out, let me know. That's a different episode.
All right, with that. All right. Thanks, Andrew, for joining us, and we'll catch you all next time.
Bye.
Bye. Becca's like, I'm out.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it, and we're having so much fun. If you want to follow us individually on Instagram, you totally can. Ryan's Instagram handle is @RDCeramics, and mine is 5 Lines Pottery. That's the number 5. We would love to hear from you, and don't forget to write us a review on our podcast. We read every single one of them, and we totally appreciate them. They help us out an awful lot, and they also put smiles on our faces. I hope you guys continue to listen, and we love you. Thanks. Bye.